So Jovan Buha, the Lakers beat reporter with connections to the Lakers, he's been reporting on the Lakers for a while, worked for ESPN before, Fox Sports, worked at The Athletic as well, has come out and reported that the primary target of the Los Angeles Lakers in free agency is actually Austin Reaves over LeBron James, and they're willing to pay him $40 million a season.
A major development could be unfolding for the Los Angeles Lakers, as reports from a well-connected team insider suggest the franchise is prioritizing Austin Reaves as a long-term piece of its future. The Lakers are reportedly considering a massive 5-year deal worth around $40 million per season for Reaves, signaling their belief that he can be a cornerstone of the team's next chapter. If true, this would represent a significant shift for an organization that has spent years building around LeBron James, potentially choosing a younger star to lead the way moving forward. The possibility has sparked plenty of debate among fans, raising an important question. If the Lakers commit to Reaves and ultimately move on from LeBron, could it become the smartest basketball decision the franchise has made in the last decade?
So there's news that came out. It's reported all over the place right now. NBA Central is reporting it. Yahoo Sports is reporting it. Other sources are reporting it as well. So the main story here is Jovan Buha, who's the beat reporter for the Los Angeles Lakers, has been for multiple years now. Supposedly has inside information and, you know, gets regular tips from people inside the organization.
What makes this report stand out is the credibility of the person behind it. Jovan Buha is one of the most respected reporters covering the Los Angeles Lakers, with years of experience reporting on the team for major outlets and strong connections within the organization. That means this isn't simply an outside opinion or a guess about what the Lakers should do. According to Buha, people inside the franchise view Austin Reaves as a priority moving forward and are reportedly prepared to commit significant money to keep him in Los Angeles long-term. The message coming from within the organization suggests the Lakers have carefully evaluated their salary structure, roster construction, and future plans, and they believe investing in Reaves offers greater long-term value than continuing to build around the final stages of LeBron James' career.
Reported on his podcast that the Los Angeles Lakers are looking more favorably and prioritizing Austin Reaves as a free agent, to sign him because he's a long-term asset instead of a stopgap, you could say, with LeBron James. Because with LeBron James, you never know. They might sign him for 40-50 million. Maybe he'll play one season. Maybe he'll play half the season because he'll sit out and load manage with an injury for the half a season. They don't know.
If this report proves true, it signals a major change for the Lakers. For years, the franchise has built its plans around LeBron James and his championship timeline. Now, by reportedly making Austin Reaves a top priority, the Lakers appear ready to focus on the future rather than the past. This isn't just a roster decision, it's a sign that the organization may be entering a completely new era.
You show the highlight, you don't show what led up to it. It's BS.
You can say, like, he is worth somewhere in that range. I do not disagree. I think the issue is based on the Lakers' finances and based on their current cap situation and Austin being a long-term piece and LeBron not being a long-term piece, that's where they just are in the situation where to add to the roster, they need to...
From a basketball perspective, it's easy to see why the Lakers might view Austin Reaves as a long-term priority. He is entering the prime years of his career, continues to improve, and fits naturally alongside Luka Doncic as a complementary playmaker and scorer. Reaves also offers something every franchise values: stability. He is available, consistent, and capable of growing with the team's core over the next several seasons. A long-term investment in Reaves would give the Lakers a player they can confidently build around, while decisions involving LeBron James come with a much shorter timeline given his age and where he is in his remarkable career. Another key part of this discussion is the belief that LeBron James may no longer be performing at the same level he reached just a year ago. According to Jovan Buha's assessment, there were noticeable areas of decline during the past season, including his outside shooting, ball handling, and ability to consistently create offense in isolation. While LeBron remains one of the most impactful players in the league, the reality is that age eventually affects every athlete. If the Lakers share that evaluation, they may view next season as another step in that natural progression, making it even more logical for the organization to focus its long-term investment on a younger player like Austin Reaves rather than continuing to build around a veteran nearing the final stage of his career.
Notorious CRG. Thank you for the super chat. I don't know if you've already covered this, but do you think it's fair to ask LeBron to take less money than AR in order for them to both be there? I've not answered this, and let's dive into this. So I have covered earlier in the show. I was asked about that, whether it's fair to ask LeBron to take a pay cut in general. And the thing that I laid out with this is that LeBron is worth, I think 40, 45, 50. You want to put, argue that he's worth that based on his production, based on his performance this past season. He was an all-star. He helped the Lakers win a playoff series as the lead guy, put them on his back.
LeBron is not worth $50 million, even with his production from last season. He got his production because he was stat padding.
Critics of LeBron James have also pointed to moments from last season that sparked debate about priorities on the court. One widely discussed incident involved an interaction with Austin Reaves during a game in which some fans believed LeBron was frustrated after a rebound affected his chance at recording a triple-double. Whether that moment is interpreted as competitiveness, frustration, or concern over personal milestones depends on perspective, but it became part of a larger conversation about where the Lakers should invest their future resources. For those who support building around younger players, situations like that are viewed as reminders that the franchise must weigh not only LeBron's star power and production, but also the long-term value and stability that a player like Austin Reaves could provide over the next several years.
And now there's other, they can be more aggressive and be like, we want to get off Vando, we want to get off Jake, but that's going to cost you draft capital. And that means, because they have limited draft capital, that means you don't have that draft capital to upgrade the roster via trade necessarily, depending on how much you are giving up. So I think right now, the central thing with the LeBron conversation is LeBron believes he's worth X amount of money, and he is worth X amount of money. The issue is for the Lakers, if they pay him X amount of money, they are going to be hamstrung in terms of adding to the roster.
The other side of the argument, as Jovan Buha has outlined, comes down to roster construction and long-term flexibility. If the Lakers commit $40 to $50 million to LeBron James, it significantly limits their ability to build a balanced roster around Luka Doncic. That kind of salary structure reduces flexibility to address key needs, especially on defense, where both Doncic and Austin Reaves can require strong complementary pieces. In a league where teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder and San Antonio Spurs are building deep, balanced rosters with long-term planning, every major contract matters. From this perspective, investing heavily in a declining salary slot could restrict the Lakers' ability to add the type of supporting cast needed to truly compete at the highest level. One of the key points in Jovan Buha's reporting is the shift in leverage, which may explain why the Lakers are in a stronger negotiating position than they have been in years. Unlike older veterans, younger players with rising value such as Austin Reaves carry real market pressure because teams in large markets like the Chicago Bulls or the Brooklyn Nets could potentially drive up his price in a competitive free agency environment. That gives Reaves the ability to negotiate from a position of growing demand and set expectations close to his market value. By contrast, the market for a veteran like LeBron James operates differently at this stage of his career, where interested teams are typically aligned with specific timelines and roster windows rather than engaging in bidding wars. In that context, the Lakers' decision-making shifts, as they must weigh not just performance, but also how each contract fits into their long-term financial flexibility and roster construction strategy. At this stage of his career, the market dynamics around LeBron James look very different from anything he has experienced before. Most teams do not have the cap space or the short-term urgency to commit max-level money to a 41-year-old star, even one with his resume. That means there is no real bidding war that could pressure the Lakers into outbidding rivals. Instead, any outside interest would likely come in the form of veteran minimum deals or possibly a mid-level exception from teams more interested in star power and media attention than long-term contention. In that environment, LeBron has less leverage than in any previous free agency cycle, giving the Lakers more control in shaping their direction. At the same time, the situation is further complicated by the presence of Bronny James, whose ongoing contract with the Lakers ensures that this storyline remains part of the franchise's broader decision-making landscape regardless of how the roster ultimately evolves. If LeBron James were to leave, the ripple effects would extend beyond just the roster. The situation of Bronny James would become far less certain, since his role with the Lakers has been closely connected to the unique father-son storyline that influenced his place on the team. Without that context, his value to the organization would shift strictly to on-court production, which could lead to time in the G League or a reassessment of his long-term roster spot depending on performance and team needs. Beyond the individual cases, the larger significance of the reporting around Jovan Buha's comments is that it suggests a possible turning point in how the Lakers view their future. Rather than waiting for the LeBron era to end on its own timeline, the franchise appears to be preparing for a transition toward a new core built around Luka Doncic and Austin Reaves. From a basketball standpoint, that shift reflects a focus on long-term structure, continuity, and roster balance over short-term legacy considerations. A common counterpoint to the argument around LeBron James centers on his recent playoff performances, particularly the moments where he still showed flashes of dominance and leadership. Supporters will point to key highlights, big shots, and stretches where he appeared to carry the team in important games against the Houston Rockets. Those moments are real and part of the story. But critics argue the full context is more complicated, noting late-game turnovers, inconsistencies across the series, and the fact that the Lakers still needed 6 games and overtime in a deciding moment to finish a matchup where they were widely expected to be the stronger side. When placed alongside the broader trend of recent seasons, including limited deep playoff runs and a championship window largely defined by the bubble title, the concern becomes about long-term return on investment rather than isolated highlights. In that framing, the debate shifts back to whether committing significant salary and roster flexibility to an aging timeline still makes sense compared to building around a younger core featuring Luka Doncic and Austin Reaves, especially in a Western Conference where teams like the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs are already investing heavily in long-term development. A major theme in Jovan Buha's reporting is the idea that every season the Lakers remain locked into short-term decisions around LeBron James comes at a cost to their long-term future, particularly the development window of Luka Doncic. In this view, the franchise is not just managing a roster, but managing time, specifically the limited years of Luka's prime, which are considered the foundation of the team's next era.